You guys remember this journalist who works at the Washington Post? Her name is Taylor Lawrence. And you remember how a few weeks ago she was crying about how people are harassing her online because of her work. And, they were saying mean things about her family, and she had to remove all of her pictures. Let me just play you that clip, and then I'm going to tell you what she's done just yesterday, which, I mean, the hypocrisy is quite staggering. Just to jog your memory, take a look.
Friends as loved ones.
They have photos. Wow, these are all photos of your family members.
Yeah.
Children.
They'll threaten children. They'll threaten my parents. I've had to remove every single social tie. I had severe PTSD from this. I contemplated suicide. It got really bad. You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life. And it's so isolating.
And terrifying.
It's horrifying.
So do you know what she did? You see, she's saying, well, people online will use any bit of information to attack you and so on. She did exactly that. So she put out this article in the Washington Post. It's called "Meet the Woman Behind Libs of TikTok, Secretly Fueling the Rights Outrage Machine." Now, Libs of TikTok means liberals of TikTok, which is the app, and it's a Twitter account. It's called here it is. It's called exactly that, Libs of TikTok. And all this account does essentially is repost. It takes videos from TikTok posted by liberals and puts them on Twitter and makes fun of them, right? Not in all cases. From what I've seen, it's sometimes just posting it with no comment, but certainly also criticizing it. And the idea behind it is like, oh, let's go make fun of liberals because they're so ridiculous. Look at this video that they put out and so on. And Taylor Lawrence wrote this article about this account and exposed the person's identity because, as you can see, the name is ambiguous. You don't know who's running this account. And it's quite big, right? It's very big, almost 1 million followers. And she wrote this article, Taylor Lawrence, she wrote this article exposing that woman's identity. And she basically not only did that, she also accused the person running the account of, fueling, hatred against LGBTQ+, trans and gay people, and saying that this legislation in Florida was fueled and helped, encouraged by the things that were posted on this account, and saying that, the proof that this Libs of TikTok is supporting the right wing in America is that Tucker Carlson shows some of its videos sometimes on television. Look, for example, here they say, the anonymous account's impact is deep and far-reaching. Its content is amplified by high-profile media figures, politicians, and right-wing influencers. So they make, they're making out this Libs of TikTok to be something enormous, and that, it's been promoted by Joe Rogan and Meghan McCain and Tucker Carlson and all this stuff. And in the article, she, as I said, she exposes this person's identity, and she did this by linking to her real estate profile. And the Washington Post did something very dirty, because they actually put a link to this woman's address, her name, and her job information, and then they removed it. But I kept a copy of the article that has the part where they put everything. So if this is a copy of the article, and over here, this is a link that reveals the person's information. Now, I'm not going to give it to you, obviously, although it is already out there. But once there was backlash from this, because people started saying, hold on a second, you've been whining and crying on television about people using your online information against you, and now you've gone and doxed somebody on Twitter. You've doxed the person behind Libs of TikTok because you don't like their politics. What a hypocrite, right? Again, she's crying right here. Remember what she said.
You feel like any little piece of information that gets out on you will be used by the worst people on the internet to destroy your life.
This is a few weeks ago. And then she goes and takes a person's information and puts it out there. And it gets worse, actually. She literally showed up to this person's house. As you can see here, Libs of TikTok, they posted that she, meaning Taylor Lawrence over here, she literally showed up at my family members' homes. There was a picture even of Taylor Lawrence, basically standing on the other side of the door with her phone like some stalker. They just showed up to her address. And you can see in the article, she admits that she tried finding all her information. So Taylor writes that when a reporter called the phone number registered to Rachik's real estate profile and libsoftiktok.us, the woman who answered hung up after the reporter identified herself as calling from the Washington Post. A woman at the address listed to Rachik's name in Los Angeles declined to identify herself. So again, she not only published this person's information, but even went to their house and their family's house, basically harassing them. And this is incredible to me because it's not only extremely weird that you have somebody at the Washington Post, which is a huge newspaper, right? One of the biggest in the world, with so much media power, dedicating all of this effort, all of this time, just to go and find the identity behind some random Twitter account. In the past, journalists used to dedicate such platforms and such energy to investigating government crimes, right? Crimes of corporations, of government agencies, of intelligence agencies, not random people on Twitter. But now we're in an atmosphere where having the wrong politics, in this case, being against liberals, makes you a target as a private citizen. And they're justifying this, right? Because ever since you had Donald Trump, ever since Trump became president, you had this coalescing of the Democratic Party of neoliberals with neoconservatives and the intelligence agencies, right? So they just, full on embracing authoritarianism. And basically anybody who disagrees with us, you're a Russian spy. You should be investigated. Censor this person. Deplatform that guy. And so this atmosphere has been continued and passed on. It still exists today, right? If you have the wrong politics, they will try to destroy you. So instead of going after the government agencies, the real power centers, right? Who has power in Western society? The government, the corporations, and the intelligence agencies. That's where the real power is. Instead of going after these power centers, what journalists do now is go after random people on Twitter. I mean, this is obscene, right? Posting someone's private information. This is really ridiculous. And now you have people saying, well, that's not true because the person behind Libs of TikTok, her name is Rachik. She registered her website without using Whois privacy, because when you go to buy a website, if you don't pay a little extra for this option, everybody can look up the website and see who registered it, your name, your phone number, your address. And so apparently they're saying, well, she didn't cover up her identity when she bought her website, and so that's how you could find the information. Okay, fine. But when the Washington fucking Post goes and puts a spotlight on your identity and links to your address, they put a link to her address and her name and phone number and job in the article. That's entirely different. That's entirely different. You're purposely bringing attention to a private citizen's personal details. If someone had done that to her, you know what the reaction would be? That's the reaction. So, she's made an entire career of basically bullying random people online who are really of debatable significance. I'm trying to say this politely, people who don't really matter. And I'm trying to be diplomatic. My point is that compared to intelligence agencies and governments and corporations, the people you should be really diverting your attention and work to as a journalist, she's just going after random people. Again, we looked at this thing with Clubhouse. She infiltrated some conversation on Clubhouse and tried accusing someone of saying the word retard, and it turns out they did not say that, and that this was part of the culture on Wall Street bets. And she refused to even correct herself. She smeared this person, and then she refused to correct it and put her Twitter profile on private and basically hid. And so this is her job. This is what Taylor does. She tries to find random people on the internet of debatable significance, and then try and destroy their careers and their lives for saying the wrong thing. And it's not just her. Let's be very clear. This is not just about Taylor. This is about the entire toxic atmosphere of neoliberalism and this climate that we're in, especially since Trump became president, where, you know, if you have the wrong politics, we're going to come after you and we're going to censor you, smear you, destroy you, and so on. And again, I really do not even care about this Libs of TikTok account. I don't follow them. And it's funny to me because people are saying, well, you know, they're basically saying that this account is fueling the right. Correct? That's what Taylor was accusing this account of doing, of fueling the right. Motherfucker, you are all on the right. Democrats are right-wing by my standards, by international standards. Okay, they're to the left of Republicans, but they're not on the left. You're both right-wing. So what does this mean? They're fueling the right. You're the same shit. You are exactly the same shit. You all cater to corporations. You are all imperialist. You are exact same bullshit. The left, the right. This is so childish. This is ridiculous. There's no left in America, not in mainstream politics. Of course, you have people who are leftists in America, but liberals are not the left. I can assure you that. That is really hilarious to me. That is really hilarious to me. You basically have two groups of right-wingers acting like it's some battle between the right and the left. There's no left here involved. This is ridiculous. It's ludicrous. But I think it's really important to highlight this because she's a real complete hypocrite. Complete hypocrite. Really, I mean, it's quite staggering. It's quite staggering. And if you see the kinds of things that she would post, right? She said that after my whole family was doxxed again this morning, trolls have now moved on to doxing and stalking any random friend I've tagged on Instagram. They're posting their personal details of my friends and sending threatening text messages with I noticed you are close to Taylor Lawrence. Hold on a second. You literally just doxed someone. Dox means, exposing someone's personal details, their address or so on. So she wrote an article doxing someone and then she's saying, oh, people are doxing my family. Yeah, it's not nice. Why did you just do it then to someone in the Washington Post? I feel like my brain's going to explode with this kind of stupidity. Like this hypocrisy is something else. It really is. And the Washington Post put out this statement. Let me read it to you. They said that Taylor Lawrence is an accomplished and diligent journalist whose reporting methods comport entirely with the Washington Post's professional standards. Yeah, it looks like it. Chaya Raichik, in her management of Libs of TikTok Twitter account and in media interviews, has had significant impact on public discourse, and her identity had become public knowledge on social media. We did not publish or link to any details about her personal life. Well, that's not true. Again, that's just not true because they did link to her personal details. They removed the link. I'm going to show you right now. Look at my screen. This is the original article over here. Do you see how there's a link in blue over here? Sorry, I'm just going to remove the orange so you can see properly. Do you see how there's a link here on real estate salesperson? This is the archived article. Now, if you go to their website, the link is gone. They removed the link because this was her personal information. So they're lying. They did link to her personal information and they quietly removed the link. I just showed you the proof. I have it right in front of me. So they're complete liars. And honestly, there's a funny part here. Look what she said. In the article, she says, the online influencer Glenn Greenwald has amplified Libs of TikTok to his millions of Twitter followers. Online influencer? Excuse you. So Glenn Greenwald is an online influencer now. Wow. For those of you who are not aware, although I'm sure if you're watching, you're aware, Glenn Greenwald is the journalist who broke the Edward Snowden story, that the NSA was spying on everybody and conducting mass surveillance, which is one of the biggest stories of this century, literally. And he broke the car wash story in Brazil about corruption and Lula. So, and this, I'm just talking about the two biggest ones. There are other, of course, prominent things that Glenn's reported about, and he's been a journalist for many years now. So she's trying so hard not to call him a journalist when Glenn is 50 million times more accomplished and recognized than her. Most people have no fucking clue who Taylor Lawrence is. Everybody knows who Glenn Greenwald is. because he's a journalist. He's a consequential journalist, unlike her. You know, this is gutter journalism, what she's doing. This is crap. This is something, you know, you wouldn't even wrap fish and chips with. This is like the Sun or the Daily Mail. Garbage, utter garbage. And the fact she's trying to denigrate Glenn Greenwald. Like, again, I think Glenn wrote something. He said this is like being called a war criminal by David Frum. David Frum was in George Bush's administration, right? So that's really what it is, right? Like, you have someone who is everything a journalist shouldn't be, calling actual journalists online influencers, like basically demoting them to some random person with an online account. What a clown. Taylor is such a clown. Seriously, this is so pathetic. You can tell how insecure she is because she has to put other people down that are way more accomplished to like lift herself up because she has nothing to stand on. It's so hilarious. It really is. It really is. She bullies people and doxes them and destroys their careers and their lives and then claims that she's the victim. I mean, that's usually what bullies do. They cry when they're caught. And that's what Taylor's doing. You need to understand something. This language is crucial in how neoliberal circles and outlets maintain narrative control, right? So with Julian Assange, they won't call him a journalist, even though he's done more journalism than all of them combined. They'll call him, you know, at best a whistleblower, but usually just a hacker, right? And that's why they're happy that he's being prosecuted because, you know, oh, he's not a journalist. He didn't study journalism like we did, and he didn't go to a really nice, fancy school like we did. He's not in our club. He doesn't have the right politics. So he's not a journalist. We are journalists, and we get to decide who's a journalist. And so this is the same kind of mentality, right? That you employ this language with Glenn, which again is ridiculous. Like, the guy won a Pulitzer Prize. He's broken one of the biggest stories of the century. And this is what they do to everybody, right? It's not just limited to Assange or Glenn Greenwald. They do this with everybody they don't like. They'll try to like downgrade and diminish and denigrate their achievements and their reporting because they have the wrong politics. So that's the whole mantra. Like, basically by not calling you a journalist or calling you anything but a journalist, they can downgrade your work and diminish the importance of what you're saying so that they can put themselves up on a pedestal and, you know, boost themselves. It's really pathetic, and it shows their insecurity and how desperate they are to maintain narrative control. It's just pathetic, really. No other word for it.